Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to press the subscribe button and like this video. So today I want to talk a little bit about social media and what I have been processing with it and thinking about. So I guess first I'm gonna start and just tell you guys what I have been thinking and going through, and then give you some examples of what I think that it's doing to people's minds right now, just being on social media with all that it's turned into recently. So for me, I got social media when I was like 13 years old, and I'm 19 now. So I've had it for about 6 years, and I had Facebook and Instagram. I had recently gotten TikTok just for fun. But as I've been on these platforms, I realized that the more that I am on them and invested, the more that I am also receiving from them and using them as a source of comfort and something to do when I'm bored and just stuff like that that is not necessarily healthy, but it makes time pass by and it's fun. My brother was visiting recently, and he was just giving us siblings kind of a warning with where social media is going and how it's affecting us. And he personally had deleted all of his because he could see that it wasn't impacting him in a positive way, and that he wasn't able to really give anymore on it with the way that it has been going. And examining myself and my own social media platforms, I realized that I also needed to get rid of some and check my motives for why I have the ones that I do have. And with YouTube, I feel like I'm still giving because I'm able to post videos and impact your guys' lives in a positive way. That it would be my hope. Otherwise, I don't think it's worth it unless it's spreading the gospel of Jesus. I don't think that I need to be on it necessarily. And not to say that I can't, but it's not a necessity at that point. Anyway, so with Facebook, it had become something that I just liked to scroll through sometimes just to see what people were up to, and that I would post randomly on. So I decided that that was unneeded and I deleted it. With Instagram, I used that as my catch-all for my time when I was bored and didn't really want to think about anything and just wanted to look at other people that inspired me, but not actually do anything with my own life that much. So I decided that I didn't really need that, and I had deleted it for about a week. Then I got it back, and I'm starting that whole thing, which I do not plan to keep Instagram unless I am, like I said, being able to impact other people in a positive way. Otherwise, it's not worth it to me at that point. Some of the things that I've been thinking about with social media, I wanted to share with you guys, because I don't think that it's necessarily bad, but I do think that it's affecting this next generation who will be the adults soon and who are going to be leading this country. And it's important to think about what we're gaining by being a part of the social media sphere and what we're losing also, because there could be a lot of loss if we're not careful. I just wanted to add here really quick that we also need to remember that we have wisdom in our lives in the older generation above us and generations. There's a lot of people like our grandparents and our parents and just that generation above us that have wisdom that we don't yet have. And the Lord has said to listen to that wisdom and that we can gain it by listening to that. And so I think it's super important to remember that we have that wisdom in our lives, and if we are so focused on our own group and our own level of people and only our peers, then we're going to miss out on all of the wisdom that they have, and we risk not being able to give that to the next generation and use it in our generation. And we don't want to drop that wisdom where it is and then have to relearn all of the things that they had already learned and could pass on to us. So I think it's super important, rather than looking at the older generation as outdated and like they have nothing good to say, to remember that they have wisdom that we don't yet have, and they have understanding that we can't understand, but we can listen to it and believe it, and remember that they have lived life to more of an extent than we have thus far. And so I think that that's also really important to remember when we can get kind of caught up in like the social media world and the online world, to remember that we have a physical world that has wisdom for us to give, and we can use it now and learn now rather than having to relearn things that they already learned. So like I said, I think that it fills in the blanks of our mind a lot, that blank space that we could be using to be creative and critically thinking about things and analyzing and pursuing things. I think sometimes we get caught in receiving and kind of just like enjoying ourselves, and so we get on social media and just scroll. And then when we do that, it kind of consumes our mind all the time, and it makes us think about it, and our something in our brain seems to like switch gears, and we're always thinking about like what we could post or how we could write that caption so that more people would see it, and it becomes less of a message and more of a like, how can I collect more followers? I think it causes a lot of people to put up a fake front about how they're doing, and even when they're face to face with people, because of social media, they feel that they need to be at a certain level of like being good, I guess. And so they're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine. And so we have all these surfacey relationships with people, and we're no longer able to really dig deeper with people, which that's really extreme. I don't know if that happens to a lot of people, but I think that it can if we're not careful. And it also causes us to ignore our lives and our own struggles, because we get to watch other people, and it helps us to feel better about ourselves that other people are struggling, and we get to watch their vlogs and their things that they do, and so we can kind of just watch them sort through their stuff so that we don't have to deal with our own stuff. And I think that it's really important for us to work through our stuff and to be real with ourselves. And yeah, I would just encourage you guys to take time to really think about what you're going through that needs to be dealt with, that you've put on the back burner or that you've put on the shelf to never be dealt with, and to bring that back out and really get through some of that stuff. Because I think the more that we shove things out of ourselves, the more they're going to come back later to kind of interfere with our lives at that point, when we could just deal with them now and continue on with life. So these are kind of really extreme examples, but I think that it's good for us to think about what's coming in, because if we don't think about it, we'll just keep doing it, and it's kind of like garbage in, garbage out. If you're bringing garbage in all the time, you're going to continually let out garbage or deal with garbage in your future by shoving things aside that need to be dealt with. So I think it's really important to stop and think about what you're taking in. And it's not just on social media, but that is what this video is about. Yes. So one verse that I have, and I'm not going to read the whole verse because I think that this could get a lot more political than I want it to get if I read the whole verse. But it says, in the latter days, which I believe we are in, our consciences will be seared like a hot iron. And I looked up that word searing, and it's like withering or like parched. And I think that that's what social media can do to us if we continue to just kind of let ourselves feed on it. The more that we see, the less that we think things are bad, and the less that we think about what we're seeing, and soon enough things start to not matter as much. Like, I guess an example I could give is like when we're young, I think a lot of people know that swearing isn't okay, and they've been taught that, and so they're like, oh, I shouldn't do that. But then in school, as people start to say words and put things out there, the more you hear it, the less your conscience tells you that's not okay, and then soon enough you realize that you're saying swear words and you don't care. And so I think it's kind of like that. With the more stuff that we let in, the less we feel bad about it, because it's normal and it's what everyone does, so why does it really matter? I think that there is a need to examine ourselves and see what we need to do and where we need to change. And I'm not gonna give you something that I think needs to be done and that everyone has to do. But I think that it is important for us to think about what we're receiving and how it's going through us and how it's affecting us, because I think that that is a lot of the cause of why there's so much depression and anxiety in young people nowadays, and more so because of social media and the internet. I I've heard that the statistic has just skyrocketed since the internet and social media and phones have become such a large part of life. And I think that that is not the way that the Lord wants us to handle life or live our lives. He wants us to be free and at peace and enjoy life in what it is, not on social media or on a fake scale, but on a real scale and in a way that is beautiful. And He's made our lives so beautiful. I don't know what it looks like for you to kind of deal with this, but I would encourage you to search yourself for what that should look like and how you can change that so that you're better enjoying life, but you can also affect other people that maybe don't live near you through social media and be a positive influence for others. But just to check how much you're taking in and in what ways you have kind of gone astray. And I'm not saying this to judge anyone, but I personally know that there are ways that I lost my conviction about things because I was so focused on following someone and it didn't seem bad anymore because I had been so caught up in it. And yeah, I'm not gonna call certain things bad and certain things good, but I think that it is there is a line and we need to find it. So I don't know what that will mean for you guys, but I hope that this has been encouraging and that you gain some understanding and wisdom from this video and that you can apply this in a way that will impact your life in a better way and in a positive way. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a great day. If you like this video, press the little thumbs up under the video and subscribe to my channel and comment below what you thought. Thanks guys, have a great day.